Hi, this is Nathan M. Jose, and welcome to Math World. And today, we are about to discuss the important math concept called Order of Operations, or PEMDAS. What is the order of operations all about? Well, it is just a set of math rules that tells you which math operation like addition or multiplication to do first. You might wonder why we need rules to tell us which operation to do first. Can we just do the order we wanted? This is not good idea because the result will give us two different answers, just like the following example. 5 plus 10 times 8. Since I love addition more than multiplication, I will start at 5 plus 10 is 15. And then I'll just multiply it by 8. And I'll get 120. That was so easy. Now if we want a right answer, then we should prefer multiplication, and we're going to do that first. That is 10 times 8 equals 80. Then add 5 will give us 85 as our final answer. Math will be very confusing subject if there were different answers to the same problem. This is where order of operation will be very helpful. The order of operation is the way for us to agree on the order that we should do in math problems. And if we always do operation in the same order, then we will always get the same answer. So now that you know why we need order of operations rules, let's find out what those rules are. The best way to remember is to use the acronym PEMDAS, and it goes something like this. First, do exponent operation in parentheses and brackets. Next, do the exponents. Then do multiplication and division from left to right. And lastly, do addition and subtraction from left to right. Let's take a closer look on these rules and see some examples. First on the list, do an operation in parentheses and brackets. Now in case you haven't seen parentheses or brackets before, then I will explain it briefly. Parentheses are just symbols that curves forward and backwards, and they are used in pairs like this. When we put numbers in operations in between of them, it forms a group. And brackets work exactly the same as parentheses. They just have different shapes that looks like a box, but they mean exactly the same thing. They are used to group things together. Our rules tells us to do any operation inside the group first. For example, have a look at this problem. 10 times 4 plus 5. It has 3 numbers and 2 operations, multiplication and addition. 2 numbers and addition symbol are inside parentheses. That means that they formed a group, and we need to do that part of the problem first. 4 plus 5 equals 9. So the part inside the parentheses can just be replaced by a simplified value 9. And once you do the math inside the parentheses and see number like this, you don't need to show the parentheses. Now with the parentheses gone, we just have one operation to do. We multiply 10 times 9 and 90 as our final answer. So the parentheses can really help you know what part of the problem goes first. What if I will give you a problem that has more than one parenthesis, like this, 5 minus 3 plus 6 times 2. Fortunately, it doesn't matter which side of parenthesis you do first. You just need to do everything that is inside the parentheses before you do anything that is not inside the parentheses. In other words, we need to simplify everything in the parentheses. First, before we can do the addition in between number, the first group is 5 minus 3 simplifies to 2. And the second group is 6 times 2 simplifies to 12. Now we can do the final operation, and the value that we got is 2 plus 12 equal 14. The next thing we do is the exponents. If we haven't seen exponents before, they're just repeated multiplication. For example, the repeated multiplication 4 times 4 can be written on shortest form as 4 square. And 4 times 4 times 4 will be 4 to the power of 3. And the 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 can be written as 4 to the power of 4. Get the idea? This small number is called the exponent or power. It just tells you how many times to multiply the bigger base number. So after we take care of any parentheses, simplify and exponents, this becomes the next highest priority. 10 times 5 square. For this problem, we have to simplify the exponent first before we can do the other multiplication. For exponent is telling us to multiply 5 together twice. So 5 times 5 is 25. And after we do that, we can now multiply the result by 10. So 25 times 10 is 250. And one thing we should remember, sometimes you are given a problem that has exponent inside the parentheses, like this problem, 3 squared times 4 plus 10. And you may wonder, how can I read of the parentheses before I do the exponents? You might think that if you simplify the exponents first, you're breaking the rules. But the truth it's that if you do whatever operation that is inside the parentheses, you are doing the parentheses first. The parentheses really tells you where to start. So in this problem, first we do 3 to the power of 2, which means 3 times 3 is 9. Then the part inside the parentheses is 9 times 4, which equals 36. And once the parentheses are gone, we have 36 plus 10 and get 46 as our final answer. Now we are going to look at the last two rules. These two rules are really important because they do the most common math operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And the rules tell us that we need to multiplication and division before we do addition and subtraction. To see how these rules work, let's see the few examples to use those basic operations. First, let's try this one. 2 plus 5 times 4 minus 3 times 5 minus 1. And now that we have our rules, we have to do the multiplication before the addition. 5 times 4 is 20. Then add 2, which give us 22. Now let's try the other side. 3 times 5 minus 1. Do 3 times 5, and that is 15. And then minus 1, which is 14. 22 minus 14 and 8 is our final answer. Now let's work for the division and subtraction. And since division has the higher priority, we do the 10 divided by 5 first, which is equal to 2. Then we subtract 2 from 20. Then we got 18 plus 2 is 20 as the final answer. Another one, 12 divided by 6 plus 5 plus 40 divided by 4 times 5. So we have 12 divided by 6 to then add 5 to get 7. And for the other side of the group is 40 divided 4 multiplied by 5. Which do we do first? Multiplication or division? Since multiplication and division have the priority and importance, same thing with addition and subtraction. We need an extra part at the end of each of these rules that says from left to right. If you have problem that has both multiplication and division or subtraction and addition, then you are supposed to work it from left to right. That's because in some cases, you will get different answer if you work from right to left. For the given example, if you work from right to left, that is 4 times 5 is 20, and 40 divided by 20 is 2. This method is from right to left. But if you go from left to right, is you do 40 divided by 4, which is 10, and then multiply by 5 equal 50. Notice that the direction made is a big difference. 2 as against 50. Now to finish the problem, 7 plus 50 equals 57. So whenever you have a problem that has a mixture of multiplication and division or subtraction and division, make sure that you are doing it from left to right. And that's all for today. In case you have suggestion and question, please leave a comment below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell button for more updates on my video. Thank you and goodbye.